Hi, coaches. Dave Starman here, and welcome to the first edition of The Breakdown. We're going to take a look at some of the smaller components of the game and be able to translate them for you into where they make a big difference in the way that your team plays. Now, we know that there's a lot of youth hockey coaches out there that are watching, so what I've tried to do is bring up some concepts, and today we'll be talking about defensive zone clears off of defensive zone faceoffs, but I'm going to try to bring it to you in a way where you can translate it to your team and make it more successful for your teams where you're practicing maybe 2 or 3 days a week and you don't have the same ice time as, let's say, a college team does where they're skating 5 times a week and getting a little bit more practice time. A couple of the key things to being successful on defensive zone clears. Number one, obviously you have to practice it. Now, one thing you can do when the weather is really nice outside, especially in the fall, is get outside and do a lot of your structure outdoors. Do it on a tennis court or a basketball court or out in the park. You don't need the ice for the structure component, so save time, save money, and after you finish dry land with your team, then you create a defensive zone and you can walk through the structure. Also, being able to show them video like we're going to give to you today will be great for having them learn the concepts of defensive zone clears and how to be really good in your own zone. Now, the skills that centermen need, the skills that defensemen need in terms of how to win a face-off, clean sweeps through the legs, how to line up against a guy that maybe shoots the same way you do, where you want to position the defenseman, and defenseman skills like clears, flip shots off the glass. Those are things that obviously you're going to need ice time for. So some of the things that we want to work on. Number one is the set plays, and defensive zone clears, there's a lot of set plays. Face-offs are all about set plays, much like a corner kick in soccer. You're starting from a set spot so you can dictate, depending on where you put the puck and how you want to run your play. I would tell you this, making sure that your team is really good on its breakouts is going to be a key component of this because not every face-off zone win in your own end is clean. So you may have to chip the puck down into quiet areas below the goal line, maybe have a defenseman carry it behind the net, and now you're starting from a set breakout more so than starting from a set face-off play. And most important, you have to communicate. When players come off the bench to go take a face-off, if it's a whistle, they should be in each other's ear. Name your face-off plays, whether it's the Jimmy Jam, the wild rim, the D underneath, shorts, and make up your own names, but it's important that the players know the names of the plays, and all you have to do is call them out, and everybody will now know their role, where to line up, and what to expect. So the communication component, really, really important. I threw this quote up there, so as you go through this presentation a couple times, you can really learn it. But basically what this means is the guy with the puck or the girl with the puck, they've got one job to do, but they are not going to have the success that you want them to have as a coach unless everybody else is on board with you too. So there's your structure, there's your communication, there's your call for the play. If you want it, it's important that every player on the ice is doing their job, the success of one predicated on the work of 4. Lastly, some of the fundamentals that we're going to look at. Number one, obviously, you have to win the draw. You can scramble a draw, or maybe a draw gets in a win spot, but it's not clean. Bottom line is, let's get the puck behind our centerman so that we can start to make some hay. We talked about everybody being on the same page. That, I think, is obvious. Forwards, make sure that you are above your check. So when pucks come up the wall and you are not getting past the defenseman too quickly, you're not flying the zone too fast. If a puck winds up getting turned over, you need to be in a position to make a secondary play to move a puck out. And defensemen, when those pucks get moved back behind the goal line or into a spot where you can make a play, no dusting. Let's get those pucks moving according to the plan that you want and get those pucks out of the zone. All right, so we've got a defensive zone draw. We're going to look at a few clips here, and I've got them marked up. We're going to make some key points on them. I don't want to over or belabor the points on a lot of them because you'll pick them up as we go along. But I want to be able to show you some framework and some structure on how a couple of real good college teams get pucks out of their own zone. And I'm going to start with a game that I did the other night on air. It was a game between the University of Michigan and Penn State University. So we'll start with that one, and we will get rolling on some of the things. Now, the first one I'm going to show you is kind of funny because it's the only one of the group where the defenseman actually isn't going to clear the puck. The centerman is 23 here in blue. It's kind of a scramble draw. Centerman goes up, does his own work, and the defenseman got the nice posture just in case. Now here, you got the weak side defenseman right here behind the play. I call this the jailbreak. You're going to have a forward that's going to be just off to the right of the defenseman, and the plan is to win the puck back to this D and have this D get the puck real quick to a winger that's breaking up ice. So as you roll it through, you get a little interference. You get set by one of the wingers, clear out some space, kind of a legal pick. And there's that quick pass. And I will tell you this, coaches, one thing I would keep an eye on at the youth hockey level, make sure that that player that you're giving the pass to is on their strong side. So they're receiving the pass on their forehand, not their backhand. I will say this to you, you'll have much less gray hairs if the player receiving that pass is getting it on their forehand and not their backhand. On this one, got a D here, get a D here. Now you'll notice that they're both on their side of the ice, their strong side of the ice. By the way, the guy that's circled right there, that's Owen Power. He was the first-round pick in the NHL draft. They're going to try to pull a little weak D play here underneath. It busts a little bit, and Power gets forced into the corner at 22, but his partner 24 makes a nice cover. But by this point, it's too late. Penn State and White all over him. That play bust mostly because of the fact that the defenseman didn't get to the puck quick enough and have some protection. So you've got to build a little bit of that taking space protection component into your defensive zone draws. Here's a little bit of a D underneath, right in your living room here, folks. Up the wall, out of the zone. Nice, quick, easy play. Now over here, see 56 in blue? 56 in blue's got his hand up like he's blocking a field goal. Everything worked here, except this defenseman here, as he tries to get the puck up and off the glass, doesn't. And it winds up hitting this defenseman right here, and they wind up in a little bit of a mishmash. It's really important when you go back and get the puck that you make sure you take a look and see what your options are, because this defenseman very easily could have peeled back out and gone the other way if he had to create a reverse. So the puck, the field goal gets blocked, and Michigan does a really nice job of putting on some pressure. Now over here, we've got this play set up. Weak side D, that's Luke Hughes, who I think was the 4th pick of the draft. You got Luke Hughes over here, 43. You got Truscott over here. If he has to turn around and go, his stick is going to be in a bad spot. He's going to be more on his backhand, which is why sometimes I really like the defenseman over here to be on the other side, so their stick is closer to here. Watch the play go. He's got a job here. The D underneath play is in effect. His job right here, 15, is to either protect the defenseman, Hughes, coming over, or to get in a situation where you can pull a reverse. He does a little of each, but Michigan still gets into some trouble because it wasn't clean. So his job is to get back there or to pick up the player in white that's charging through the circle, little of each. And now Michigan gets into trouble as Penn State can establish a forecheck. This is the weak winger fly play. I love this play. To me, it's my favorite play to get out of your own end in the history of mankind. It's nice and simple. You see the stick right here? That's a defenseman. That defenseman is on his offside, so that when the puck comes straight back, if it does, he can skate into it. His stick is closer to the wall, so he can make good contact, stick on puck, and hammer it around. The player that is over here, you can see him, he's going to be 18 in white. It's Clayton Phillips, so I think it's a pretty special defenseman. He has to really scramble here because the puck doesn't go straight back. Turns, good puck protection. Because the stick's on the wall, he's able to get that puck up and out. We'll see the same idea right here. Try to fly the zone with a quick little play. This time they get all tied up. This player right here, 15 in white, makes a really good read. First of all, he protects to give his partner some time. Then he's able to jump on the puck. That's Kenny Johnson, by the way. That's Jack Johnson's younger brother. So he's able to make a pretty good play here. Auto reaction, get the puck around. Penn State recovers, and they're able to jam it right up. We switch teams here for a second. You'll see Michigan there in gold. Michigan State is in the green. Now, you got a couple different options set up here. This player can come through and go off the glass if he wants. He sticks in a good spot. This player down here, same deal. Sticks in a good spot. He can rim it around. So you have to communicate before this face-off taken because everybody's in a good spot. Pull a couple of different plays. That keeps the offensive team a little bit more at bay. So who's jumping? Who's going? Who's going to make this play here? Puck comes back to the wall. There's the pick play we talked about, or the reverse option. There's the reverse. Now you're in a set breakout. Little chip up the wall. Good support. Michigan State is out. Same setup, same kind of idea, except the guy on the wall's on his off wing now. Gets a little tied up. 15 in green's able to make a play. Come up the wall. You're coming in off a set breakout. Now this, from Michigan, this is interesting. There's a lot going on here. The defenseman here is coming underneath. He's going to pull it back. He'll be on his backhand. He's going to cut the net. So he's got some protection when a forecheck starts. This winger right here is going to get to the wall and try to blow this defenseman out. If this D early engages, it changes the dimension here. But he pushes up high, so he keeps this defenseman honest, and that's what really allows the space for this player to come in. That's Hughes again. Off the glass, out, nice and simple, create a race. And remember, In youth hockey, it's automatic icing. So if you ice the puck, even if your player wins the race, it's out. But in college hockey, if you want to fly the zone like that and try to create a race, if you beat the defenseman back to the dots because of the hybrid icing, you can wave off the icing. So that's where that play is a little bit more effective maybe at the college level.
He had such great success at the end of
All right, on this play, this is interesting because now you got a little bit of a scramble here. This was kind of a hand grenade that 22 in green picked up. But look, he's got the protection on 56 in gold. His partner's going to come over and protect him. You got a lot of support down here. He stuck around. He didn't bail. And that's important because now he can cut the net, set up an established breakout, and now they get out of their zone a little cleaner. It's communication, simple play, short passes. We'll change teams here for a second, and we'll change the dimension. The white team here is Minnesota Duluth. The green team here is North Dakota. Minnesota Duluth is shorthanded. This defenseman on the wall, he's set up for the weak rim. Centerman right here on his backhand can sweep backwards. And right here, that's Cole Koepke, 17 in white. It's going to be his job to get to the wall and get this puck out. So a good clean win back. Puck comes around. Koepke's in there, create a battle. And they can clear the zone. Now, North Dakota taking this draw. By the way, coaches, you'll notice, I think in a lot of your rinks, they've redone them now. These hash marks are wider now. You'll see in the double IHF. You'll see it in college hockey. Those are wider now to limit the amount of interference off of faceoffs. Well, here, it plays into North Dakota's hands. They get a little wide room so the D can jump. This weak side D is going to jump in here to create a pick. And this forward, the safety valve guy, is just going to step back. Watch this draw. Comes back a little bit on a scramble. Sticks in a good spot because the player has a stick closer to the inside, and they can get out. And this one, just a simple decollect, set breakout, and up and off they go. So now we'll transition from practice to game and how you can wind up practicing this. We could draw it up, but I really think that when you see how this looks, you'll be able to draw it up yourself. You'll also be able to draw it up on some coaching templates that you may have where you can plug this in and give it to your players. You're going to work on it in practice. You're going to work on it off ice so you can give some structure. And to me, this is one of the simpler things to explain without getting so complicated with X's and O's and lines and colors. And I thank Long Island University head coach Brett Riley for sharing this video with me. This is some work that he did with his team in preparation for their games with Omaha a couple of weeks ago, and to Gary Sarosi, their video coach, who helped put this together. So we'll take a look. There are some practice clips that go right into the game clips. Starting here. Here's a little strong D, weak side clear, a little bump and bump. So one face off, they go D to D behind the net, up the wall. Now they're in a set breakout. Off they go. Nice and clean and simple. Here's the game application. Right D, right shot, left D, left shot. Everybody's set. There's the weak side retrieval guy if needed, if they wanted to go with the weak rim. Instead, they'll get a little forehand to forehand play right here, and they can clear the zone with a good breakout. Here comes a little D underneath. You'll watch the guy on the wall set a pick. He'll come in, the button hook from the weak side D. Wingers are going to wait and then fly the zone when they can. Winger gets bucket showing back. Wingers go up off the glass and out. And they're able to attack. Same deal here. Puck comes back, up off the wall. The weak side defenseman steps right in, hammers it off the glass, and tries to create a race. Here it is in the game. You try to get a puck back. By the way, that arrow that I'm showing you right here should be on the player a little bit further back. I apologize for it. Same idea. Puck will come back, get an option of the weak side rim, but instead they go with the strong side hammer. There's the winger underneath or above his check to get the puck out. And here they'll set it up one more time. Good communication. They all get set. Everybody on the same page. Winger knows where he wants to go with it. Defenseman gives a little protection, 4 in blue. And they're able to move it up and move it out. I love this, by the way, because, by the way, you'll see right here the goalie. Watch how he gets them guys to set. I love the fact that they're utilizing the goalie here to drop the puck. And he's keeping the centerman nice and clean. Here comes the puck drop. This is the weak side rim. Nice and simple. And the weak side rim predicated on the fact that this defenseman is on his offside. If his stick is to the other side, it doesn't work as well. So his stick is back. He can go back and get a puck like I kind of showed you in the earlier video with Clayton Phillips. He can go back and get that puck once that puck is dropped and hammer it right around to the weak side forward. Digs it out, around. Winger comes up with the puck, and out he goes. Another example of it. Good clean win right here. Puck comes up and around. The one argument I keep hearing about this play, and I've heard it from a lot of youth hockey coaches, is that a lot of times this player will have to turn and face the puck. So and if they're on their wing, let's say left shot, left side, if this player has to turn, now his stick is or her stick is more towards the middle, or they have to pick it up on their backhand. To me, it's an occupational hazard. I don't think either one of them is that big a deal. And in the NCHC, where Omaha plays, there's a lot of deep dives on the weak side by defensemen. So just as your kids are starting to get older and defensemen are getting more savvy with their hockey sense, you got to keep an eye on that. But that weak side rim is a great play because if that winger could pick it up and either grab it on the backhand or have to turn to protect it and ship it to a partner that's coming up, as you see, it turns out to be a really easy out for your team, nice and clean, as long as your centerman win the face-off, nice and simple. So hopefully you got a little something out of this. I think face-off and face-off plays and being able to clear the zone quick off of wins is a really important component to your team's success. Part of keeping your goals against down, obviously keeping pucks out of the net. And the one way that we can keep dangerous situations from happening is puck control off of set plays. I think that is a key to your team being a good one. So work with your centerman on how to win faceoffs. Make sure you put in good structure, 2 or 3 set plays for your team in its own end, whether you're shorthanded or you're 5-on-5. Make sure everybody knows where they're going and what they're supposed to be doing. And I guarantee you that you will breathe a lot easier and probably win a lot more games if you can clear the puck out of your own zone and your defensemen get those pucks up and out nice and quickly. Thanks for joining us on episode 1 of The Breakdown with Dave Starman. Happy hockey and good luck over the next couple of weeks.